Okay, say you got something you want to animate and you want it to follow a curved path, but you don't want to enter a ton of keyframes in order to like do a whole bunch of like little segments along what you're doing. You just like it to start and end and draw out a cool path for it to follow. Not too hard in Blender. Let's go ahead and first start off by creating something to follow a path. The cube is really hard to see the orientation, so I'm going to zap the cube and I'm going to shift add a mesh. I'm going to add a cylinder. Great. Then I'm going to go into edit mode and I'm going to, let's take a side view. I'm going to rotate this 90 degrees because I want to make an airplane here. I'm going to size it along the, I don't know, y-axis? No, I want the x-axis. No, I don't want the x-axis. The z-axis. There we go. It is the x-axis. Must not hit the key right. Cool. Anyway, so I've got it sized along this axis. Doesn't look too bad. I'm going to hit Control R and I'm going to add a couple loop cuts after I hit Control R. I'm going to hit Escape because I just want those straight in the middle. Then I'm going to try to find almost the exact edge here. Yeah, it looks like I can get this face, so I'm going to go into Face Select mode. I'm going to select, let's see, this is top down mode. I don't want top down, I want side view, excuse me. I'm going to select this face. Then I'm going to hit E to extrude it out. This is going to be a wing. I'm going to grab the other side. I'm going to hit E to extrude it out. This is going to be my other wing. They look not exactly the same. I should just leave them like asymmetrical and like drive people nuts. Grab this one. I'm just going to leave it like that. And then I'm going to add sort of a cockpit here up in the middle. Extrude this up. And then I'm going to go to Edge Select mode and Alt Select. Alt, not window. Alt select this ring. I can size it with an S key and make a little bit of a nose cone going on there. I'm going to Alt select this ring, hit I to inset. Cool. Then I'm going to E to extrude, and then I'm going to size it up. All right, there's my airplane. It's not too fancy, but it's whatever. All right, so I'm going to do a top-down view. And I'm going to get out of the edit mode and I'm going to go into object mode. Now I just need to create my path for this little airplane thing to follow. I'm going to hit Shift A and I add a curve. Any of these curves should work. I'm just going to pick path. I've got path selected. It's actually inside of the airplane right now, so I can't see it. So I'm going to hit Tab to go to edit mode, size it up. Okay. There we go. And I want it to rotate 90 degrees. And then I can actually grab these edges and move this curve around to wherever I want it and have that airplane fly. Now, what end of the curve is it going to start on? Which is a really good question because, quite frankly, right now I don't know. If you are in this mode, you can go here to overlays and do normals. So I'm going to do overlays, normals, and then as I zoom in here, I can see it's got like little arrows that show me which direction it's going to go. It may be hard to see on the monitor there. They make those arrows pretty small. When I was prepping for this, I noted that the arrows actually seemed much larger than this. I don't know why they're so much smaller. But it's basically going to go from left to right, it looks like. I think I have a very long path. That's probably why the arrows are that way. Okay, so top-down view. I've got a path. I've got something to follow the path. Now, how do I get that something to follow the path that I've created? I'm going to select that object, and then I'm going to go here to Object Constraint Properties. And this is where the key is to doing this. So I'm going to click on this. object constraint properties, and I'm going to do follow path. Thankfully, they've named it pretty good. So follow path will allow me to follow the path. Well, cool. I hit go and nothing happens. That's because while I've hit follow path, I haven't told it what path to follow. I have to hit target here and select my path, or I can hit the little eyedropper and just click on the path. I'm just going to select the path. There we go, and now it's following the path. Except it's not following the path. I mean, it put the thing on the end of the path, but it's not following it. If you want it to animate, you have to click the animate path button. Now it's following the path. Hey, pretty cool. I got my airplane following the path, kind of. I mean, it goes along the path, but it's not really changing the orientation, right? You have to click follow curve right here, and now it will change so that it looks a little bit more like it's flying, except it's flying sideways. Now, this is where I get to where I just like randomly click around until I find the right combo. But the forward axes and the up axes are basically what you need to find the right combo of. Basically, it's which is the forward direction on this and the forward direction on the axes. If you have them both at the same, if the forward axes and the up axes are both Y, it can't figure it out. I mean, it just doesn't make sense, like geometry and stuff. But different combos of this. Here I did Y and X. That's clearly not right. I did Z and Y, and see what happens there. That's not right. I think maybe I'm going to do Z and X. And the only reason I guessed that is because I think I hit every other combination when I was prepping for this video. But you can see, there we go. It is actually following the path. And I can go back to the path and edit the path. I can grab these. I can move these up and down. And the aircraft will go ahead and follow that path up, down, around. Pretty cool. You will note that although I have an animation that's going 250 frames, the path really only seems to take 100 frames to follow that. Well, that's one more thing we need to edit. If you've got the path selected, you can click here for this like little path properties tab. And then they have underneath path animation the number of frames it'll take. So if you want it to take 250 frames, you just hit 250, and now it'll go the whole 250 frames, which is kind of fun. There's some other stuff that you can do. You could actually get it to start like later on if you do the right frame counts between here and the other tab. It's kind of weird that they've got this here, and then they've also got the constraint here, and there's a lot of number playing around you can do with that, but anyway, this will hopefully get you started. The other thing that I really like doing with this is if you didn't have an object here, like if you wanted to take the cylinder plane thing I had out, you could actually go to the camera and add a constraint for follow path to the camera. And now that you've got a constraint on the camera for follow path, in this case I've got Y, Z, I want to animate the path. Oh, speaking of which, whenever you animate, I didn't think about this before. I'm going to go ahead and hit pause here. The object that you're animating here, if you do view, sidebar, this should really have all of these things zeroed out, because otherwise you're going to animate along the path, but it's going to be offset a certain amount. So I really should have this at 0, this at 0, this at 0, rotation at 0, this Z rotation at 0. There you go. That's better. Then I can center my view on this. I'm going to have it animate path. And of course, at this point, I really haven't told it to follow the curve. So I'm going to click follow curve, this, uncheck this fixed position. Don't quite know how I got that on there. And whoops, I still didn't. Here, target, NURBS path. There we go. Animate path. hit play. There we go. Now the camera is following the path. And right now the camera is pointing down the entire time. I got to find the right combo. I think it's like, there we go, a negative Z and Y combo. Yeah, that looks like it's following the path correctly with that particular combo of stuff. And the orientation is up. Anyway, being able to take a camera and fly through, so if you create a really cool scene, you didn't really want to animate the scene, but you do want to show off the scene, like a bunch of mountains or a room, then you could actually take the camera and fly through that. And you could even have the camera follow the airplane a little bit further behind, and basically like you're doing a chase on the airplane. Anyway, there's a lot of options, and this sure beats putting in a whole ton of keyframes to get something to go exactly where you want it.